I want to thank you for bringing this up. I think too often approaches to these issues rely too heavily on the supply side, and it's important not only to look at the demand side, as you pointed out, but to look beyond efficiency and really look at behavior. But as Willett pointed out, it's a really tough problem, and it's almost taboo. People are scared of bringing it up, I think in large part to the experience in the early 80s, where efficiency got the bad rap of being freezing in the dark, I guess is what people called it. So maybe it's a messaging challenge, and maybe it points to the fact that behavior has to come, changes in behavior have to come from the ground up, not regulated from the top down. But I think the more we bring up these issues and bring up the demand side and bring up behavior, I think the closer we'll be to actually addressing these problems, because I don't think we're going to get there just by changing the supply of electricity and transportation fuels.
On the electricity and heating fuels, I think I spoke at length about our vision. So I think that we should be clear there about our two-pronged approach of attacking supply and demand. As far as the transportation, I didn't get too much into it in the speech, but in the greenhouse gas report that just came out from DEP, there's a few initiatives that we're trying to push in order to reduce the demand for traditional transportation sources. And they include more smart growth practices, land use patterns to decrease people's need to jump in the car. I guess we've been talking about that for, I guess maybe we're going on 30 years now, about needing smart growth, transit-oriented development, et cetera. But it seems to be the answer to this problem as well. Higher vehicle efficiencies using a California standard. It's what we have available to us. So let's try to push it. Obviously, with Lisa Jackson in charge now at EPA, I think we're a little bit more optimistic that waiver will go through. And on the mass transit front, look, I mean, we would love to really make a splash there and make mass transit available to every community in New Jersey. It's just too expensive. We just don't have the money. And if somebody has a suggestion on where to get the money, that'd be great. But we're faced with a pretty tough budget situation, and we just don't have the money for it. And it may not be a good answer, but it's the answer that we have right now. So.
Question down there.
Hi, my name is David Lamb. I'm a Rutgers University student who heard about this from a professor, and I thought I'd come through to check it out. I have a couple questions, actually, if that's fine.
Sure.
First off, I know the rechargeable battery situation in hybrid vehicles. The technology isn't as good as we'd like it to be. How does that impact the V2G proposal, and would that decrease your estimate by a significant amount? And how would that affect, the filling in the gaps of the wind production and stuff like that?
Sorry, the last piece, filling in the gaps of what?
Of wind production.
The batteries that we have available in mass production, the cheap batteries are mass produced, 100,000 units a year minimum, $1 billion for a factory. And those are designed with a set of design specifications. They didn't need to last more than 3 years because the electronic equipment they were in would be obsolete and would be replaced in 3 years. They didn't need to withstand temperature extremes because devices were going to be in a pocket or inside a heated and cooled space. So given those design specifications, the batteries that we have today are perfectly designed for the need. Automotive design is different, and it's a matter of not just, repackaging or putting insulation on it or something. You start with the electrochemistry and work up from there. So it's not sort of that the batteries aren't there. It's just that, the designers and testers and so forth are busily working at a new set of specifications. Now, to get a cheap set of batteries for a vehicle right now, the solution that Tesla and AC Propulsion and some of the smaller companies are using is to use the laptop type batteries. So that does mean fewer cycles. They're kind of 300 to 1,000 cycles, whereas what you'd like in an automobile with V to G is maybe 8,000 cycles. So that means that you'll probably do a battery replacement during the life of the vehicle, and maybe if you're doing a lot of V to G or wind leveling, you do 2 battery replacements. So that's expensive. But the point is not to get a car that competes with a Chevy that you could buy in a dealership right now. The point is to try out the technology at this point so that when automotive type batteries are mass produced and available cheaply, we'll understand all the other systems that are necessary, all the computing, intelligence on the vehicle, signaling, how you do wind leveling and all that other stuff. So this is the right time to be testing that, but the batteries that we have are not optimized for the automotive application.
This is to Mr. Esser. I'd like to speak about Dr. Kempton brought up the topic of sea level rise, and that should affect New York to a great extent. And in anticipation of possible sea level rise and the already evident growth of the New York area with the urban sprawl and all that, how does that impact the energy master plan of New Jersey? And are you guys planning to implement measures to move the population of New Jersey into more densely populated areas to lower, the wasteful, culture that we have already?
Right. Well, I think for starters, most of those sea level rise projections are not really anything in the near term. They're very long term projections, right? They're going out to maybe even as far as 2100. And in which case, I mean that's so far beyond us that I'm not sure we. It makes sense for us to be dealing with that now until it becomes a reality. And to that point of it becoming a reality, I would say that our 100% of our efforts need to be focused on making sure that that does not become a reality. And that's why I think that we need to get aggressive with our energy efficiency, renewable energy, so on and so forth. Everything I went through, get aggressive with those so that we can start to tackle these problems, and so that we don't have to worry about a sea level rise in the future. But if we're unsuccessful, unfortunately, future administrations are probably going to have to consider things like that. So,
I'm getting the sign here to wrap it up here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Is there another burning question out there? If not, I think if you wouldn't mind joining with me to thank our panel, which I thought was appreciate your coming here. I enjoyed it. I think our group did, and I'm sure on the video cast we'll have a lot of other interested folks. So thanks for coming.